Good morning from the upper Swansea Valley in Banau Brycheiniog National Park in Wales. Back in the year 1878, this area became the unlikely home of Adelina Pattie. Adelina Pattie was one of the most famous sopranos in history. The composer Giuseppe Verdi once described Adelina Pattie as the finest singer who had ever lived. Adelina ended up living in this area for over 40 years. It's also where she died in September 1919. Now, I wish I could tell you that Adelina was buried here in this churchyard, but she's not, unfortunately. She left instructions in her will for her burial, which I'll mention later on. Adelina Pattie was born in 1843. Her parents were Italian, but she was born in Madrid, Spain. Both of her parents were singers. When she was still a child, the family moved to New York and she grew up in the Bronx. At the age of 16, she made her first operatic debut at the Academy of Music in New York. At the age of 18, she was invited to sing in Covent Garden in London. Due to her success in London, she bought a house in the city and she used it as a base to conquer Europe. In 1862, during a tour of America, she sang for President Abraham Lincoln at the White House. Abraham Lincoln was grieving the loss of his son at the time, and Adelina's singing brought him to tears. Her popularity resulted in her touring all over the world, including Russia, Europe and South America. Now, by the time she moved to Wales, she was an extremely wealthy woman. As you can imagine, she didn't live in an ordinary house here. She actually lived in a castle. Just to give you an idea of her wealth, during her prime she commanded the payment of $5,000 per night, payable in gold. In today's money, I believe that would be worth over $150,000 per night. And she was actually one of the first people in Wales to own a motor vehicle. Adelina purchased Craig y Nos Castle in 1878. Her first marriage had broken down and she moved into the castle with her new lover, French tenor Ernest Nicolini. Nicolini would later become her second husband. She spent several $1 million in today's terms making over Craig y Nos into a Gothic castle. The now much larger castle included a clock tower and a 150-seat theatre. And this was Adelina's home, Craig y Nos Castle. Craig y Nos translates to Rock of the Night. All of her gramophone recordings were recorded here during 1905 and 1906, by which time she was in her 60s with a voice well past its prime. Earlier recordings were made of her voice on phonographic cylinders in New York City, but all but one of these cylinders have been lost, and I believe the only one that survives is unplayable, as it's too delicate now to be used. She was an excellent billiards player and she had a $2,000 billiards table installed here. And she also had a private theatre inside the castle. Craig y Nos is believed to be the first private house in Wales to be wired for electricity. After Adelina's death, the castle became a hospital for many decades. Today it's a hotel and wedding venue, and you can actually get married in Adelina Pattie's theatre. I contacted the hotel prior to my visit and they kindly agreed to let me film inside. There are many paintings, drawings and photographs of Adelina Pattie inside the hotel. If you're thinking of staying here, be warned, it's believed to be haunted. The hotel actually holds ghost tours here once or twice a month. Craig y Nos is actually said to be the most haunted hotel in Wales. I'll show you some more footage of the inside of the hotel later. Sadly, I was unable to visit the theatre due to restoration work going on. Weather-wise, I don't think I could have picked a better day to come here. I'll leave a link to the hotel's website on the video description. Adelina Pattie died here at Craig y Nos Castle on 27th of September 1919. She was 76 years of age. This is the former Craig y Nos railway station. Adelina Pattie funded this station, which was on the Neath and Brecon line. It was opened in 1867 and closed in 1962. This building was built in 1886 and it was Adelina who funded its construction. And she had her own private waiting room inside of this building. The station was originally called Penwyllt Station, but it was renamed to Craig y Nos in 1907. And you can imagine Adelina standing on this platform waiting to board her train. She would travel with a large entourage, and she even had her own luxury carriage. This carriage still exists to this day. It can be seen in a museum in Swindon. Adelina's second husband died in January 1898. She married a Swedish baron in the following year, and he curtailed her staff from 40 to 18. Adelina's final performance was at the Royal Albert Hall in London on October 24th, 1914. It was part of a Red Cross concert to aid victims of the First World War. In 1918, she presented her winter garden building from her Craig y Nos estate to the city of Swansea. It was re-erected and renamed the Pattie Pavilion. It still stands today. She died of natural causes in 1919. Her will specified that she wanted to be buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. Specifically, she wanted to be buried close to the composer Rossini, which was her favourite composer. This one's a little bit of a strange one because Rossini had been moved from Père Lachaise 30 years prior and reburied in Florence. Adelina's body could not be shipped to Paris for 8 months following her death, possibly due to the flu pandemic at the time, but also possibly because of the shortage of ships after the conclusion of the First World War. She would have been fondly remembered in the Swansea Valley following her death. She used to raise money for the poor of Swansea and other towns in the valley. Okay, I've dragged myself to the top of this hill and I'm hoping there's a view of the castle from here. Oh, great. False summit. I had originally planned to make 2 videos down here today. I think I'm going to have to settle with making 1. The scenery is just so nice here and the weather is perfect. So I've taken quite a bit of time to make this video. Okay, I'm just hoping there's no false summits past this tree. But there is. Thankfully it's not too far away though. Another failure. Nice view though. Okay, try one more, this little hill in front of me. Excellent, I can see the castle from here. Let's get the drone up.